Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the 3 Topics Gamer, here to share with you another one of my worst to best tier list style ranking videos to share with you guys today. Now, last week I did a tier list style ranking going over all of the animated Batman films, so it's only kind of natural that we would follow that up by going over all of the animated Superman films. So if you do happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep track of me and all my future ranking or just general videos in general. And remember, if you have an idea that you think would make for a great video to post on my channel, please let me know what that idea is in the comments down below, and I will try to get it up to you as soon as I can. Now, before we start, I would just like to thank this awesome subscriber of mine for posting the idea. Now, he did kind of jump off the idea of the last video by posting in the comments. So again, I just want to thank you for, sending in the request so we can get this video started. Now, there's nearly not as many Superman animated films as there are Batman films, but there are a solid collection. And luckily this time around, starting right about now, I actually have seen all of these as opposed to like animated Batman films, but there are only like 13 or 12 of them, if I remember correctly, and I have seen them all, and they vary from one film to another, so I'll just generally start in order. Starting off with All-Star Superman. I like this one, but I don't think it's all that great. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's an interesting take on All-Star Batman, All-Star Superman. But I would probably put it in B tier. I think it's a solid place to kind of put it. Next one, we have Battle of the Super Sons. Just not a fan of this one. It's okay, but it kind of focuses on Robin and like Superboy, so that by definition, it's just kind of okay, at least for me. Next, we have Reign of the Superman. This is kind of a semi two-parter, and it's kind of, in my opinion, it's almost semi compared to the Death of Superman, almost in a sense. Which is why I'm gonna save that one for a little bit later. But I will follow that up with Superman and Batman Apocalypse. This one is a great film. Great film, introduction to Supergirl. Apocalypse shows, not Apocalypse, Darkseid serves up. Pretty intense fight between Superman and a controlled Supergirl. Batman has a really badass moment against Darkseid, and then the fight at the end where Superman just kind of goes off on Darkseid is pretty awesome. That's followed up also with Superman and Batman Public Enemies. I really appreciate how they always put Superman first. Most people would say like Batman and Superman, but it's Superman and Batman. But where would I put this? I think I would put it a little bit ahead. I do like it a little bit more. They spend a lot more time together, and it is mainly focused on those two. Wonder Woman's in the other one, which is why I would put. I'm not a fan of Wonder Woman in general, so that's where I would put her. Next, Superman Brainiac Attacks. I gotta admit, this one's very, very mid. I really don't think Brainiac is all that great in the Superman animated show. There have been different variations of Brainiac that have interacted with Superman, and this is definitely one of the, in my opinion, one of the ones I'm just not that impressed with personally. Next, we have Superman Doomsday. Now, the Death of Superman storyline has been told to death. It's had multiple variations, and I gotta admit, within the animated series, this one is definitely my least favorite. It's not bad, but I don't like the direction that they took it. They didn't expand on it as far as they kind of they took elements of what happens in like the second half of the Death of Superman storyline, and they kind of just reduced it, which I wasn't a big fan of. And there's other versions of the animated films that have done it better. But yeah, this one, it's not awful. I do think the fight between Superman and Doomsday is pretty intense. But it's the second half where it just kind of just doesn't really work well for me. Next, we have Red Sun. I really like this one. I really like this one a lot. This is a very, very, very good telling of an alternate world story, Elseworld, as they would say, of what would happen if Superman grew up in the Soviet Union. And you kind of see alternate versions. So you kind of see like what a Soviet Batman would be, and how that whole thing works, and how kind of Lex Luthor is kind of the semi-hero. And I won't spoil the rest of it, but it's a very, very good telling. Next, we have Superman Unbound. This is another telling that involves Brainiac. Much better than what we got in Brainiac Attacks. It works very well. I like it a lot. It's just not perfect. I'm not a big fan of the animation. I think that's, for me, what holds it back a little bit. Next, we have Superman, Man of Tomorrow. This is where Superman has an interaction with Lobo, which I think we'll be seeing him in the I don't know, but I'm sure maybe we'll see Lobo in live action soon. But I actually like it a lot. It's great. Just a couple of elements about that hold it back, but it's still a really solid film. Superman and Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. I was never really a big fan of this one in general. To be fair, I mean, it's kind of one of those films that, okay, this could have worked had it just been Shazam. Why do we feel the need to have to shoehorn Superman into it? I mean, I know they can tell a good Shazam alone film, so I just kind of felt like the reason I don't like it all that much is just me personally. I feel like they just shoehorned him in for no reason, and when you're just using Superman as just you're exploiting him just to kind of get people interested because there aren't too many people who are fans of Shazam. I just don't think it does the character service. I mean, he's fine in terms of performance, but again, I just feel like Superman is just shoehorned into this. Next, I mean, I understand that there's an element that has Black Adam face Superman, but no, it should be Shazam and Black Adam. We don't really need to add Superman in there. Next, we have Superman versus the Elite. I personally, this is my favorite. This is my favorite out of all the animated Batman films. Not Batman, Superman. Why am I still thinking about Batman? What I like the most about Superman is this is the only one that I really feel kind of questions Superman's morals in an open sense with the public opinion. Because you have Superman who kind of sticks to his no-kill rule, and you have the elites who, in the eyes of public opinion, seem like the better option. And what I think really takes to the next level is you actually see both of these mindsets, both of these viewpoints go head to head. And we really very rarely get to see Superman go completely off and show just how powerful he is. And when he does, and it's done very, very well, it really stands out. So I think the final fight at the end, in my opinion, is my all-time favorite animated Superman fight of all time, because it's so one-sided that it's scary. It kind of shows what a scary version of Superman can be. And we have seen evil versions of Superman done, like if you take the Injustice series, but it's done to teach a lesson. And I think that lesson is taught very, very well, which is why Superman vs. Elite is by far my favorite Superman animated film. Now you have The Death of Superman and The Reign of the Superman. These films very much work similar to each other. Kind of similar to Batman's, The Long Halloween. The Return of the Dark Knight. They kind of work one in one, in my opinion. So you kind of have to pair them together. And I personally would put them both in A tier. I would put them both in A tier. I think they work. I definitely think the first half is definitely stronger than the second half, where you have the introduction of, the Eradicator and Cyborg Superman and Superboy and Steel. And I definitely think the first half is definitely better than the second half. But they work as a pair very well. So, yeah, I just think it's great. So that is my ranking of all of the animated Superman films. If you want to give a crack on how you would rank these, or just my thoughts on my list, share your thoughts on either your list or my list in the comments down below. And like always, I want to thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.